Destruction of farms will start auctioning sized cows, prosecute herders. Ondo State government. Owners of cows that destroy farmlands in Ondo State would henceforth be prosecuted and their cows auctioned. The state commander of the State Security Network, AUCT1ON Chief Adetunji Adeleye, said this in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Adeleye, speaking at the signing of agreements for the release of over 250 cows arrested by AUCT1ON Corps, said, "We would no longer allow negotiation for compensation for farm crops destroyed by cows resulting from illegal grazing on people's farms. Rather, the government would henceforth prosecute owners of seized cows and auction seized animals after getting court order." Adeleye said the AUCT1ON Corps arrested over 250 cows following distress call and petitions by farmers in Ikogun Ilara Owena Dam access in the Federal Council area of the state. While saying that he mobilized his men for the operation, Adeleye noted that he visited the farms and saw the level of havoc done by the herders and their cows. According to him, herders destroyed over 300 hectares of farmland with crops including cassava, maize, cocoyam, and yam. Apart of eating up the leaves and stems of the plants, the herders uproot cassava, cocoyam, and yam tubers, which they use in feeding their cows and also take to their camps to cook or roast. I was amazed when I saw the level of destruction and stealing that they did in this current case. When we got to the farm, the herders started by attacking us, but later they ran away, but we succeeded in arresting 2 of them. But to trek for 30 to 40 kilometers every time is not a joke. Not only that, we have to trek for this long distance, we also have to guide the cows and control traffic on the expressway while leading the cows. So it is not a small job at all. While doing all these, we do not engage in financial discussion with either the farmers or the herders. We don't collect a kobo, but we suffer a lot in bringing these cows to our premises for enforcing the law. It doesn't have to be hard. Again, if you on the farm, if the cows are still there, you auction the cows, and then the money you get, you give it to the farm owner. Isn't that a much better policy than taking cows on the expressway? Like, how does this? Okay, all right. Someone says, actually, it continues and says, when the latest incident happened, we brought them together and said, unless they signed an undertaking that after this operation, AUCT1ON will no longer allow settlement of farmers henceforth, because it appears that it is not working. We will henceforth charge them to court and auction the cow. That is the position of the state government and the AUCT1ON Corps as from now. Any herder that destroyed farmland and crops now, we are not going to open the window of opportunity for negotiation for the payment of compensation. They will be arrested, the herders will be prosecuted, the cows will become the government property and will be auctioned because the window of love we showed them, they are not reciprocating by complying with agreements reached with the farmers. Absolutely. We felt that the herders are transacting their business, which they have a right to as a Nigerian. Farmers are equally transacting their business. A lot of them have invested heavily on these farms. However, herders would come overnight and graze on these farms despite government order banning and night grazing, underage herders and other illegalities. Many of the farmers have died of strokes and hypertension, and a lot of them have lost their property because they cannot service the loan they took and invested in the farm. All these affect the socio-economic growth of the Southwest, especially Ondo State. We are not going to tolerate this again. Collecting money and giving to farmers does not pay. The money paid to farmers as compensation is not up to 1% of the crops destroyed, Adeleye said. The chairman of the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, Alhaji Gaba Bello, signed for the herders, while Mr. Odeyemi Joseph and 3 others signed for the farmers. Okay. As they should. I think that let's see examples of this and how they'd go forward with this. Because again, we know the country, they'd say things to please us, they say certain things, and it will seem like as if they are very proactive. Again, it's just the way they use their words, and they've used this eloquently here, but one could question the efficiency and logistics and cost and just unnecessary stress on Amotekun Corps to actually sort out this issue and actually take these animals to their premises. You don't have to do that. You can make things easier. Leave the people there. Allow the elders to stay in that land and basically pay back. I don't know why you can't give out subsidies, but yeah, if you auction the cows and sell the cows, I mean, cows are expensive. I hope they worth something, so they can. I mean, 250 cows is a lot of cows. I mean, cows are like worth what? Let me even assume that a good big fat cow is worth 200,000 naira, and then we times that by 250, that is 50 million naira, which is, I think, good enough money. I mean, would you agree? But yeah, I think that it's a step in the right direction, but will they go through with it? Or are they just doing it to ease farmers? Because again, we cannot be surprised if the farmers are just like, you know what, we've had enough. They start protesting, and then because the government might not even answer them, they might just get into self-defense, in which you can never really gauge. Well, someone says, wicked Fulani goats, better this way, use the law against them. Will they go through with it? That is what we need to know. And will they be granted, like bail after one day for like 1,000 naira? Somebody says the government should provide security men with horses to be able to navigate the forest. Absolutely, yeah, they do that in a lot of countries. In like, let's say, countryside, not necessarily express road and all that. They would, they basically have cows. I said cows, I mean horses, that they use to navigate these spaces. And I think that the deployment of security people, should not just be in the city side where there are busy roads and all that. It should also be in all areas, in as much as hospitals, schools. They should all be everywhere in Nigeria. Even if you don't think it's necessary, they should be in like the rural areas. It's not always urbanization. I mean, yes, we understand that they're urban cities, but you have to take care of, because again, where you have land like this and people investing money like this in land and farming, you can't necessarily it should even be more expensive to live in areas where there's a lot of farmland and stuff, because that adds value to the environment. But I guess I'm happy that they understand how economically it's bad for farmers to lose their investment and their land just because, not just because, but for a big, very, very big issue. Herders still, after severe warning and compensation, and not even compensation, but relaxation and all that, in terms of lack of proactivity, they sort of underestimated or just took it for granted, and so now they've got to be harsh, and it is what it is. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.